Hello, I'm Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel, on Instagram, on Ravelry, and pretty much everywhere else on the interwebs. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about all the knitting, all the sewing, all the making, or whatever crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down this week. And yes, it is, if things seem a little bit darker this week, it is because it is a gloomy, dreary, rainy day here in Bushwick, Brooklyn, where I currently hail from. So we are making things work as best as they can because the show must go on. Am I right? Am I right, people? But anyway, I'm so happy that you're here, taking some time, chatting about all the making. I hopefully have a fun show for you guys this week. But just a couple of announcements before I get into all that fun stuff. Our Calan oh wow, I can never pronounce it. Our Calan Cowl knit along has come to a close, and that was a knit along where we all cast on the Calan cowl, a pattern that I designed. And yeah, it was a 2-month-long knit along, and I have to say, you guys, it was so fun keeping up with all of your progress, seeing all the different color combinations that you chose, the bead colors, and it was just so fun seeing all of that develop over the past 2 months. And yeah, I extended the deadline just a couple of days. So yesterday I locked the thread and chose a winner. And the prize for this knit along is a skein of Voolenvine yarns, my hand-dyed yarns, in a colorway of your choosing. So yes, let's get to the winner, shall we? And that was number 26, Alchemy and Lace. And I will pop a photo of her beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Calan cowl here. And big, big congrats to you, Alchemy and Lace. I love your colorway choices. So yes, please get in touch with me. I'll pop my email below. Let me know your shipping address and which base you would like me to dye the colorway on. You have a choice of either Footsie, Nouveau, or Smitten DK. So let me know in the email and I will get that out to you as soon as possible. So yay! Congrats again, and thank you so much to everybody who participated in the knit along. It was so fun. And I will unlock the thread, so whoever wants to partake in the conversation, it's open to chatter. I know there were a couple of people in there who did not finish their cowls in time, but keep the conversation going, guys. I love seeing what you are coming up with. So yay! And yeah, so that leaves us with one more knit along that is currently underway, and that is our PractiKAL, a knit along or make along, sew along, weave along, crochet along, whatever you want to call it. It's a make along. Where we are making things that are practical for our wardrobe, stuff that's going to go with a lot of things, garments that we're going to want to gravitate towards on a regular basis. You get the idea. So yeah, that is still going on until March 1st. That was a 6-month-long knit along, crazy sauce. But yeah, just so much inspiration happening in there. And if you would like, if you're new to the podcast and would like to partake in all these make-alongs, hop on over to the Ravelry, the Voolenvine Ravelry group, where you can find out all the rules, the guidelines, and partake in the conversation surrounding this channel and the like. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Show notes, Kristen. Oh yes. Last week was my birthday. Thank you so much to everybody for all the wonderful birthday wishes. Totally made my day. I read each and every one of them. So thank you. It was a good weekend. It really, really was. I'll talk more about that in the blather segment, but yeah, there was lots of knitting. There was lots of sewing. It was a good birthday. So yeah, I'll get more of that in the life segment at the end of the podcast should you care to stick around. But in the meantime, I think those are all the announcements that I have to share with you this week. So with that said, I'm going to get into what's off my needles. All right, the elephant in the room, I'm currently wearing it. This finished object that I am wearing right here is my Soldotna Crop, a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. And I showed this off on the podcast last week. I just wasn't wearing it. I still had to block it, but here she is in all her glory. I love this thing so much. It's been getting so much wear since I blocked it. I did wear this out for my birthday dinner that I went out with Dennis. I took some photos. I posted it on Instagram, and yeah, so this is my birthday getup, you guys. And I'm trying to think. It fits perfectly. I remember when I first tried it on, it was a little snug, but the blocking really, you know, it didn't grow a lot, but it grew just enough where I have just the right amount of ease in here. It's not skin tight anymore. It bloomed, and yeah, it fits so well. Yeah, and I will stand up so you can see. So while, you know, the pattern is a crop top, I think the original pattern only goes up to here or so. I added a little bit of length because my waist curve is right here, so it just falls at the indent, if you will. So yeah, this is what it looks like from the back. Yeah, and yeah, I totally dropped some stitches here that I have to actually weave in, so we're gonna pretend that doesn't exist. But yeah, this is what she looks like. All right, so let me talk about the yarn. The yarn is, of course, my hand-dyed yarns, Voolenvine yarns, on my Smitten DK base, which is a DK Superwash Merino Nylon Cashmere blend, in 4 different colorways. So this gold right here is Revenge of the Harpsichord, this peachy pink right here is Courtesan, and this kind of patina green is called Deadly Nightshade, and then of course the black is called Grim. And yes, I will be having more of this yarn and these colorways in my shop this week, in my shop update, and I'll talk more about that later in the episode. I will be dyeing these colorways in the coming weeks, so if any of you would like to replicate this color palette, I will do my best to make that available to you. Or make that possible. But yes, I will not be offering these in kits just because I don't do kits. I do kits on small scales, not sweater quantities. That's just how I roll. Sorry, not sorry. That's my jam. I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this other than it took me forever to finish this. But so glad I did. Again, I was supposed to have, my intentions were to knit a modified version with longer sleeves and color work, but I just lost steam. I completely lost steam on that, and honestly, like, I would rather have this finished. Finished is better than perfect, I think, but just so glad that I did opt for the short sleeve version because it fits so much better, and I like the way it looks. So, and it goes with everything in my wardrobe. Believe it or not, as colorful and festive as this appears, it goes with a lot in my wardrobe. So yeah, and the dress, I think I'll talk about the dress in sewing, but yeah, I'll wait till sewing because this is, well, the dress is store-bought. I did modify it just a smidge. That's my Soldotna. Again, patterned by Caitlin Hunter. Highly recommend it. Super fast, super quick. Yeah, really, really fun. So yeah, all right, on to works in progress. All right, moving on to works in progress. Stitches down, stitches down. Again, this is a cast on that I have not made much progress on. I don't think I made much progress on it since I last showed it to you, but this is the Sorrel pullover. I believe it's Sorrel. We're gonna go with Sorrel, I guess. So, but yeah, this is the Sorrel pullover by Voolenvine, which everyone and their monkey's uncle is casting this pattern on. I've been seeing it everywhere. But here's where I am. I'm still in Yokeville, if that's what you want to call it. And this is on my hand-dyed yarns, Voolenvine yarns, in the Dragon Tears colorway. And yeah, it's just a really fun kind of psychedelic color. Moody psychedelic. Is that a thing? Moody psychedelic? If I had to describe this, moody psychedelic it is. Yeah, but I'm knitting it holding 2 strands together, 1 strand of my Nouveau base, which is a single ply merino, and then Ghost Lace, which is a lace weight silk mohair blend. So yeah, really slow going. I'm not gonna lie, the yoke I'm not finding, I mean, it's intuitive, it's easy to memorize, it's just a little fiddly. It's not the easiest stitch to execute, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's very slow going, and I will be totally honest, I don't feel very motivated to knit on it because of that. But I know once I'm done knitting the yoke, it's just going to be smooth sailing. So I'm trying to just get through the yoke so I can, because I want the finished object. I think in this case, it's definitely a product knit as opposed to a process knit. Because yeah, you know, I'm loving the way the yarn's working together, the colors are playing together. I love the stitch pattern. It's just getting through the yoke, which is the bee in my bonnet, so to speak. So yeah, that's where I am with that. nothing much else to write home about. That's pretty much where I was last week, maybe an inch further along than I was last week, but yeah, that's all she wrote. So yeah, moving along. Oh, and this is in a project bag that I made myself. It's very kind of like witchy and palm reading and all that fun stuff that I'm totally into. Living in my equally witchy project bag from Home Row Fiber Co. Is a new cast on, and this is a sweater that I've been wanting to cast on ever since it was published, and I believe it was like 2 years ago, and I don't know why, I think I was already working on like 3 different sweaters at the time, and over the weekend, I was like, that time is now, because I had the yarn and I really wasn't feeling like working on my Sorrel pullover, so it was just like, it was the perfect storm. The planets aligned, and thus this was cast on. And this is the, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, the Isbre jumper by Ellie, who is also known as Skeindeer Knits, and yeah, I finally cast it on, and it looks like a black blob right now because we're in Yokeville. So we're on Yokeville again. But yeah, I'm using Rauma Phenol Garn as the pattern suggests in colorways of my choosing. So yeah, this is, I'm using kind of like this charcoal black, I want to say, charcoal blackish gray, and then of course mauve for the color work. And of course I will pop a photo, because this looks like nothing right now, I'll pop a photo in the sidebar so you know what I am actually knitting and what it's gonna look like. But yeah, again, it's just a simple, intuitive, mindless knit at this point, just knitting and increasing in the round. And I've reached the color work, I think I'm maybe like row 4 into the chart, and yeah, so far I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I think this is exactly what my soul needed, just a little more color work in my life, and I love it. So yay, so happy this is finally on my needles. And I will say I did not swatch. I did not swatch because I'm expecting this to have a little bit of ease, so I'm not too faffed about fit so much. So yeah, even if it is a little oversized on me, I'm completely fine with that. And yeah, I did not swatch. I'm using the needles that the pattern calls for, a US size 4, and for the body and for the ribbing, I used a 2.5, US 2.5. The only other thing that I should probably mention is that in the beginning and the end of the chart, you are gonna have some longer floats. So of course, Ellie recommends catching those floats. You know, there's a special technique you can do. Yeah, just to catch those floats in the back so they're not so long and prone to snagging on anything, if that makes any sense. So yeah, you know, I'm probably catching my floats every maybe like 4 or 5 stitches, and there's no rhyme. Even though Ellie does have a chart showing you where you can catch your floats, I'm just doing it every 4 or 5 stitches. So yeah, I'm not too faffed about that. But anyway, yeah, that is my Isbre, and I am enjoying it thoroughly. Yeah, and I'm trying to think what else I have to share with you. I have my Habitation blanket that I am still working on. I'm not making much progress on it. This is just a pattern, a wonderful pattern by Helen Stewart. This is just kind of a relaxing, whatever kind of knit that I'm working on while watching TV with Dennis, or we're in the car, or I don't know what to knit or feel like knitting. So the yarn is from Once Upon a Corgi's Advent of Woolen Minis, a Advent yarn calendar inspired by A Court of Thorns and Roses, of course. So yeah, here is where we are with that, and I just really, really love the way these colors are playing together. And again, I'm working my way backwards through the calendar because I cast on the Land of Sweets cowl, so I'm gonna leave that hanging out until I work my way back. And yeah, I don't think I'm actually knitting the days in order at this point anymore. I'm just grabbing whatever comes out of my bag, and you can tell, like, this section right here was where I was working on it at Vogue Knitting Live, because I totally forgot to add some eyelets in there. But again, it's such a simple pattern. You can add the eyelet row wherever, whenever. So again, I'm not faffed about that. That's my new favorite word, by the way. Faffed. I think it's a brilliant word, and I will use it because I think it's awesome. Anyway. so that is my Habitation shawl, Habitation blanket throw. And yeah, I'm holding the yarn together with just an undyed skein of mohair, so my Ghost Lace base. And that is that. Sewing. I have a finished object right here, but I'm not going to talk too much in depth about it because I have something else that I want to chat about this week. But I am going to talk about it next week on the podcast because I did take photos. I posted it on Instagram. I have a blog post if you want to read about it. But this is my Suzon top by Republique du Chiffon, a French independent pattern designer, I guess you could say. Yeah, sewing pattern designer company. I can't talk today, guys. I'm sorry. But anyway, again, it's black. It's in the background. You really can't see too much of it. But if you want any more details, there's a blog post about it. I will pop it down in the description box below. But in the meantime, I'm going to be talking about what I am wearing underneath this. Alright, so this is what I was wearing underneath my Soldotna. It's just a simple black tiered dress that, you know, has, you can't see it, but I will pop a photo of it here so you can see what it looks like in all its glory. It's just a really fluffy party dress. It's like a sheer overlay on top of a black slip. And this is store-bought. I did not make this. This is from H&M. However, I did alter it somewhat. It used to have long puffy sleeves. I'll pop a photo of it here so you can see what it looked like before. While I am all about the puffy sleeves, for some reason on this dress, I just wasn't too keen about them. So, but I did love the rest of the dress. And when I was in the store, you know, trying it on, I was like, I can totally just take the sleeves off. So that's what I did. I unpicked, you know, the sleeves were serged on. So I just sat there for like 20 minutes unpicking the sleeves. I removed them, and then all that was left here was like a raw edge of tulle. And then, you know, I originally thought that I would just fold it over and stitch it around, but because the tulle is like so slippery and very porous, for lack of a better term, I MacGyvered something. I pulled a little MacGyver and dug into my toolbox and pulled out this stuff. It's basically, you know, if you look on a bra or any, you know, like lingerie, you have like this elastic tape with these little loops at the end just for like, I guess decoration or whatever. So it kind of works like bias tape in a way where you sew it on the outside and then you flip it to the inside so the little loops come out on the outside, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you follow the podcast, you know I have a serious aversion to working with bias tape. So while I noticed on the neckline there is like a tulle type of bias tape happening around, you know, to enclose the raw edges, I wasn't going to be messing with that. I was like, hard no, that's not going to happen. So I went digging into my notions and my little trimmings and everything and pulled this out, and that's what I ended up doing. So I'm going to try and show you guys. So I don't know how well you can see that, but, you know, basically I just zigzagged, this all to the edge, and then I flipped it in so the little loops come out on the outside, and then just tacked it down with a straight stitch going all the way around, and you have like this really nice clean edge that I think works and looks store-bought. Obviously it's not identical to the bias binding up here, but at the same time I think it just kind of adds like a little, you know, frilly element of surprise. I don't know, but I am really happy with the way it turned out, and because of that, this is going to get so much wear because I have an addiction to frilly party dresses. I don't wear enough of them, and I really should. But yeah, it just, you know, gives me more confidence to like go diving into my current wardrobe, pulling out all of my, you know, store-bought things that I haven't worn in a while, or worn at all, and just seeing what I can do to alter them to make them more wearable. Very, very chuffed with myself that this was a success. So yeah, I'm definitely eager to like go diving into my wardrobe and seeing what I can MacGyver next. So anyway, I think that is it for the sewing content this week. I'm going to try and keep things a little short this week actually because I still have a lot of work to do. So with that said, I am going to move along to the Blather segment, a segment where I chat about what's been happening in my life. Should you care to stick around? around. But first, just a little update about my shop update on Friday, February 7th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to have an update, like I said. I am going to have more of the color palette that I used for the Soldotna Crop that I showed off at the beginning of the episode. So yes, there will be Deadly Nightshade, I will have Courtesan, Revenge of the Harpsichord, and Grim. So all that on my Smitten DK base, and I have a new base that I'm debuting this week. So I am super excited to announce that I am going to be having a new sport weight base in my shop. I'm so excited about it, you guys. So yeah, it's going to be sport weight. It's going to be called Croquet. See what I did there? A Victorian sport. It just had, I had to do it. Sorry, not sorry. So anyway, Croquet will be the new sport weight base. It's going to be 100% superwash BFL, Blue Face Luster. And yeah, I'm excited to cast something on with it. So, but yeah, it's nice and woolly, and it's got a little bit of, it's still soft, but it has a little bit of toothiness to it. So it's got that, you know, sheepy feel. I love it. I'm excited. So hope you guys are too. And as always, you can always sign up for my newsletter to be looped in about what colorways and bases to expect in each update by going to my website, clicking on the newsletter link, and entering your info. And every week I send out a newsletter giving you the details. As for what's happening in my life, birthday weekend, again, was so much fun. Dennis and I, we went out to dinner. And the next day, I just spent the rest of the day sewing. That was Saturday. Yeah, worked on this. And then Sunday, Dennis and I actually went to the New York Aquarium. And yeah, so we hadn't been in a really long time, and that place is actually super special to us because it's one of our first legit date, not our first legit date, but it's the date where I think we realized that we were a thing, and we kind of realized that, you know, we loved each other. And anyway, total mush. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely like a place that's really special to us. So we hadn't been in a while, and they I think it's been open for about a year or two already, but they opened a new shark exhibit, which, oh my gosh, you guys, it is absolutely beautiful. I should have taken video, or I did take some photos, but I don't know, I was just in the moment and I didn't, you know, think to take video or anything, but it's absolutely beautiful if you do get the chance. It's a tiny but mighty aquarium, and fun fact, it's actually the oldest operating aquarium in the United States. I think the first New York Aquarium opened up in Battery Park in New York City, and then it was relocated during the 50s to Brighton Beach, Coney Island, that boardwalk over there. So, you know, it's a really, really beautiful area. For some reason, we always end up going in the winter because, I don't know, that's just when we tend to go. So yeah, that was really, really fun. And you know, they had sea otters, which were super cute. Yeah, it feels so new. Like every time we go back there, there's always something, yeah, new to be had, or something we didn't see or missed the first time around. So anyway, if you ever get the chance to go there, it's really fun. And then we ended up getting lunch in Brighton Beach, which is a predominantly Russian community. The food was so good. We went to this little hole-in-the-wall type of place. Dennis got pierogies. I got some kind of delicious beef stew, which was just perfect because it was cold out. Yeah, and then we ran some errands. Anyway, that was my birthday weekend. You know, then it was back to work. I finished reading Serpent and Dove, or Dove and Serpent. Serpent and Dove. I think it's Serpent and Dove. I'll be totally honest. I didn't like it. I mean, it was fun. It was entertaining. It got me all the way through to the end, but at the same time, I was just not, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I felt like the characters were underdeveloped, and she set it up to have a sequel. So I am anticipating there's going to be another book after this. I may, if she does come out with another book after a book 2, I might just read it just to see where the story goes. You know, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. But if you are into the young adult genre, witches and romance and all that good stuff, fantasy, you know, it is, I would say, you know, if you have nothing else to read at the moment, it's, you know, it's a good filler, I would say. That is what I've been reading as of late. And I am actually reading Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, the novella that I did not read from the Throne of Glass series. So that pretty much gives you the whole backstory of Celaena Sardathian from the Throne of Glass series. And then after that, you have to read Tower of Dawn, I think it's called. So yeah, after Assassin's Blade, I'm going to read Tower of Dawn and then reread the entire Throne of Glass series because that's what you do. And yeah, Sarah J. Maas is coming out with a new book this March. So excited. Yeah, so anyway, I'm completely rambling at this point, so I will end things there. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please feel free to like and subscribe below. I put out an episode for your viewing pleasure every Friday. And that said, happy knitting, happy sewing, happy making, and I will see you next time. Bye!